Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond Dafeet. My name's Josh. If you don't know so already, make sure you hit that subscribe, hit that like. Really do appreciate it. Yes, that's right. I'm back. 2 videos in 2 days. Now, I'm not going to say I'm going to keep doing that over consistently, but I am going to aim for at least one upload a week. So this will probably be my last upload this week, but I'll definitely be back next week with another video. So make sure you put in the comments what shoes you want me to compare, and I'll make sure I get onto that. But for today's video, we're going to be checking out the Asics Kayano 28 or the Gel Kayano 28, a much anticipated shoe. And over the years, we have done many Kayano reviews, some very good, some very bad. We've definitely ripped on the gel, but I'm happy to say that the Kayano 28 is a great shoe. In this video, I'm going to be going over the changes with the Kayano 28, whether you should buy it, and then I'm also going to compare it to the Adrenaline and then also the structure as well, to give you a bit of an idea of how the Kayano 28 compares to some other good stability shoes on the market. Breaking down the Kayano 28 real quick, it's for someone who does pronate or goes to roll in. Asics also say it's for someone neutral as well. I'd argue that yes, a neutral runner can run it. I can run in it. It still feels very comfortable. If you supinate, I do think it will push you out a little bit too far, but that's just my opinion. The shoe is a stability shoe, so it's nice and rigid. So if you pronate, this video is definitely for you. The shoe itself has an AR plus rubber, pretty much just a really durable rubber. This thing's built like a tank and it is built to last. So it is nice and durable. You'd be pushing that kind of 900 to 1000 Ks out of that rubber quite easily, unless you're someone who just wears it unevenly. What I've loved with the midsole that Asics have done this year is they've kind of changed up that gel a little bit. I do think it actually helps with that landing at the heel zone. So it takes a lot of pressure out. I feel like in past models, the gel's just been there for a marketing kind of thing. Don't get mad, Asics, just my opinion. But I do think you've actually done it really well in the Kayano 28. The gel running through there takes a lot of pressure off the body. And with that space construction they've been marketing and going on about, it does work. It's kind of designed to take pressure off certain elements of the heel and the forefoot and just get you onto your next step quite efficiently as well. What I do really love about this midsole with the Kayano 28 is they put that flight foam blast in. We were raving on about the Nova Blast and how they could make a really good stability shoe using that cushioning system, and they listen. I'm not going to say that Asics definitely just listen to us as a channel, but they've put it in there. And that's what we said to do, and it really works. So your flight foam blast running throughout that forefoot area makes it nice and bouncy, nice and lightweight and soft, and for once it is actually one of the softest stability shoes on the market. That actually is a stability shoe. So awesome work, Asics. You still have that little bit of a trussic underneath. Nothing too bulky though. Like the old trussic used to kind of go all the way through the shoe, so you didn't have the full ground contact. Now we still have a full ground contact, but still uses that trussic running through the middle. So it's still nice and rigid, nice and stable throughout the whole shoe, without being too intrusive, which is really good. The Duromax running from that midfoot all the way to around that heel area is a nice stable platform, as the Kayano is known for. It's a bit lighter than last season's model as well. Yeah, overall feels a lot lighter, a lot more bouncy with that flight foam blast cushioning. So I do really recommend it. If you've had last season's Kayano and you're not really happy with it, either go to the Kayano Light or the Kayano 28, and I do actually think you'll be surprisingly impressed with what they've come up with. Now moving on to the upper, you will notice a couple changes, especially around that heel. They've gotten rid of that external heel counter. For some people it was causing a little bit of irritation, or they were kind of wearing through the heel and getting to that plastic around the back. What they've done here is a heel cradle, and that's worked really well with other brands in the past as well. This just, it works really nicely. The heel cradle locks you in, kind of like an external heel counter would, without being too intrusive, and that just allows for a bit more cushion in the heel itself. It's a nice soft padded heel counter. At the same time though, it's still very structured without being too intrusive. So I do like what they've done here. Now in terms of the upper, I do think it fits the foot really well. With that functional logo and the engineered mesh, it wraps around the foot really nicely. plenty of room around that toe box. In comparison to last season's model, I do think it fits a little bit more roomy around the toes, but it hugs the foot a little bit more around that midfoot area. So it just locks you in a bit more. At the same time, you can wiggle your toes a bit more and splay them out. It comes in multiple different widths as well, so just be sure you get fitted up correctly, or at least you try on a few different widths and sizes to make sure it feels good. I think it fits pretty true to size, if anything half size big, but yeah, in comparison to previous models, it fits a lot truer to size overall. Is it worth buying? Yes, I think at that $270 price point, I reckon last season's model was too expensive for what it was, but with that flight foam blast in this shoe, it's a good price point for what you get out of the shoe. You're going to get a ton of Ks. If you're wanting to kind of run up to that marathon or a half marathon, or just wanting a good stability jogger where you only want to buy one shoe and you can use it to go into the gym, you can run 5Ks in it, you can run your half marathon, this is the shoe you're going to pick up if you need something to be nice and stable. But yeah, I really like it. Now I'm going to compare it to a couple other shoes. Now if you want to stick around for that, happy days. If you don't, that's cool. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I appreciate you. Alright, so real quick, just going to compare the Kayano 28 to the Brooks Adrenaline 21. In terms of durability, I think you're going to get similar wear out of both shoes. Going to be pushing at 800 to 1000 Ks depending on how heavy you are and how you wear the shoes in general. In terms of cushioning, for ones that actually say the Kayano 28 is a little bit softer. Your Adrenaline's still a little bit lighter overall and provides that lighter feel in general, but with that flight foam blast cushioning that the Kayano 28 has, it does actually feel a little bit more bouncy. Now the Adrenaline does soften up over time a little bit, but if you're kind of wanting that softer model that compares by Brooks to the Kayano 28, I'd be more so looking at the GTS Glycerin, which is essentially a softer version of the Adrenaline overall. In terms of your support systems in both shoes, I'd say that the guide rails work really well if you're wanting a bit more of a natural feel. However, if you're wanting to be manipulated a little bit more and you do need that little bit more structure in general, your Trussic plus your Duramax running in the Kayano 28 with that heel cradle does work really well. But if you're someone who finds Duramax a little bit too intrusive or a bit firm on that inside of the foot, the Adrenalines could be a little bit better option for you. In terms of your uppers, both very similar, to be honest. Very functional with what they're doing, that 3D engineered mesh, very lightweight and airy in both shoes, and your heel counters are actually very similar in terms of that cushioning wrapping around. So your uppers are almost, I think, identical between the two. Your shape of your forefoot's a little bit different. So if you're someone who needs a little bit more of a rounded toe box, lean towards Asics. However, if you want a little bit more of a tapered toe box, go towards the Adrenaline. But yeah, overall, both great stable shoes. The Kayano being a little bit softer for once. I know we normally harp on about how good Brooks is, and it still is really good. But your Kayano 28 has, yeah, jumped up. Kayano 28 up against your Nike Structure 24. Now your Structure's been around for quite a long time, and a lot of people love it as that kind of shoe you put on and wear for a bit of everything. In terms of an actual stable running shoe though, I'd hands down be going for the Kayano 28. If you're someone who just wants a nice soft cushion stability shoe for not much running, just more so a little bit of gym to work in, things like that, I'd say the Structure does fit that market quite nicely. And yes, you can definitely run up to half a marathon in this guy. However, your density on the inside of the foot actually isn't that much firmer in general to the rest of the cushioning. So it's shaped a little bit differently, which does act as a little bit of stability. But in comparison to say like a Duramax, it's quite firm at the heel, and then your Flight Foam Blast in the forefoot that's really soft, you can definitely notice that stable element in the Kayano 28, where I just believe the Structure doesn't have that as much. That's just my opinion. In terms of durability, you will get a little bit longer out of the Kayanos, as the rubber is a little bit firmer. But again, if you're wanting a softer stability shoe, the Structure is a lot softer in general. It's almost actually a neutral shoe, but yeah, we'll leave that for another video. In terms of the uppers, both kind of a nice roomy fit across the whole shoe. If you're someone with a wide foot, the Kayano does accommodate for different widths, where your Structure doesn't. Both very, very padded. I'd say overall, if you're wanting a much more padded cushion shoe, lean towards a Structure. However, if you're wanting something that will actually support the foot and give you a nice kind of bouncy feel at that forefoot whilst running, lean towards the Kayano. If price point is an issue though, your structures are about $70 cheaper, so that's something to keep in mind. If you want me to compare the Kayano 28 to any other shoes or stability shoes on the market, drop it in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and thank you very much for tuning in, and especially if you've gotten to this stage in the video, you're a legend. Alright, cheers guys, catch you later.